Welcome back to the Rowan's podcast. I am the Rowan. This would be a bonus episode, I believe 18. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, a comfy seat, maybe a nice warm blankie given how cold it is outside, and let's chat. Giving a shout out to all you in the southern states and stuff that are dealing with this horrible cold and nasty winter storm. Stay safe out there. You can stay off the roads, stay off the roads. Your roads down there are not set up for this type of thing, and I know your cars aren't either. If you do have to go out, please watch it. The roads can be deceptively slippery, especially if black ice is concerned, but you probably don't have to worry about that because your roads are probably pretty snow covered. But be very, very careful. Bring yourself extra blankets and things like that just in case you do slippy slide off the road and you have to wait for help. Bring some water with you in case you're there for a while. If you're stuck, here's some big advice. If you're stuck in a snowbank, make sure that your exhaust is not covered by the snow. Because if it's covered up, buried in the snowbank, and you sit in your car and you're warming your car up, you're going to get a lot of carbon monoxide in your car, and it's not going to end well. So just make sure that if you are in a snowbank, make sure that your exhaust is clear. If not, turn that car off and try to get as snugly warm as you can with whatever blankets or whatever you got. And make sure you keep everything charged up. Power packs, bring an extra power pack with you. If you have an extra power pack charger, power block, bring that with you in your car, just in case you get stuck and you have to wait for help. You have that extra power block with you just in case your phone dies on you. Because if you can't charge up with your car for some reason, you have that extra power block with you. Anyways, that's enough for my advice. Today, I wanted to touch on the Sneetches again, because I think right now in this time, I think it's really relevant to the things that are happening in our world and right now, especially in our country. Like I said, I really wish this was a story that teachers read in their classes more often, like for the younger kids and stuff. Because it's really a relevant story. And I'm sorry if I seem distracted. I brought my art supplies with me again, so I'm looking for my eraser. Oh, he turned off the thing. Yikes, I wonder what happened. That's not good. Uh-oh, I think he just broke the machine.
Hand me my gloves.
What did you do?
Somebody left something in the fucking snow over there. It looks like a fucking tarp of some sort.
Yep, it does look like a tarp. Good luck. Okay, so apparently his buddy, and I highly doubt it was buddy, it was probably one of his buddy's friends that came, because his buddy would never do this, left a tarp in the snow, and it got covered up with snow, and it got caught up in the snowplow. Well, he's got like this big tractor that has a big, huge snowplow thing attached to it, and it got caught up in the little thing that chunks up the snow and then spits it out. And it looks like he's actually getting it, so it's not as bad as we thought. He shut it down almost right away, so he was smart that way. Yep, there he goes. It doesn't look like the tarp's too badly tore up either, so a little bit. Well, good. All right. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to talk about the Sneetches And it delves really, it really is a story about prejudice. And I can't think of the other word. Racism, actually, would be the word. It really does. And Dr. Seuss was very, like, very smart in this, in how he wrote this. And he was very, it's very poignant, I think. And I don't know what year he wrote this. It was late 60s, early 70s, I think. Maybe it was early 60s. I don't know. Was it 60s or 70s? I think I will have to look that up, maybe. Or someone can look it up and post it on here for me if you like. And it's one of my favorite of all stories. And because I think it has like a really good lesson. But basically what it was there was two groups. There was the Starbelly Sneetches and the Plain-Belly Sneetches. And the Starbelly Sneetches, thought they were the best. They were the elite of the Sneetches, and they always looked down on the plain-bellied Sneetches. They were like nothing. And even the Starbelly children wouldn't play with the plain-belly children. They would just stick their noses up in the air and walk away from them, and things like that. Nothing to do with them. Well, then, I'm not sure if that's what they call him or not. The fix him up chappie. That's what I know him by. It's been a while since I've actually read the story, but he come up and saw what was going on, and he was like, "Hey, I can do something here," And he rolls up to the Plain-Belly Sneetches, and he says, well, basically, he sees what's going on, and he's like, well, I can put a star on your bellies. So then, for a price. So the Plain-Belly Sneetches, started going through his little machine. He had a little machine, and so they would give him a lot of money, and they would go through this machine, and they would come out, and they'd have stars on their bellies. Well, then the star-bellied Sneetches looked at them, and they were like, wait, now we're not special anymore. They're just like us. Well, we can't have that. So, of course, the fix-em-up chappie goes to the original star-bellies and was like, well, I could fix that too. I could take your star off. And then you would be different again, and then you'd be whatever. So then they gave him money, and they go through the machine, and they get their stars off. So now they don't have stars on, so now they're different. So now they are better than the Starbellies. So they are superior again to the newly Starbellied. And then you can guess where this is going. The fix-em-up chappie goes back, and the new Starbelly Sneetches, well, wait, we need to have our star taken off again. So then, of course, for a price, they go through and they get the stars off. Well, then it goes back and forth. Both groups are taking them on and off again. And meanwhile, the fix-em-up chappie is just raking in all this dough. Well, finally it gets to the point where they don't remember who had the stars and who didn't. They don't even remember what they started as. And they're just all mixed up now. Some with stars, some without. They don't really know who was the original, elite and who wasn't. And they can't remember. And in their confusion and stuff, the fix-em-up chappie packs up his machine and all of his money, and he takes off. And the Sneetches are left kind of looking at each other or whatever. And then they realize they had just been taken. And they look at each other, and then they realize, really, we're all the same. Doesn't matter whether we have a star or we don't have a star. We're pretty much all the same anyways. So then they come together and they accept each other, and they become like a group or whatever. And so there's no more of this elite or non-elite and stuff like that. And meanwhile, the fix-em-up chappie, he's all satisfied. He has a lot of money and he's taken off. Well, the reason why I find this so point for our time is that it just seems like, I liken this Fix 'em Up Chappie to like the devil, or the evil forces, or the ones that want to, or whoever it is, or whatever it is that wants to separate everyone into certain groups to stir up trouble, to for their benefit, for their own benefit. It's, and the people, I see the star belly Sneetches, the plain belly speech is just two people, just this, the same, because they're all Sneetches, right? They're all like one race, but they may have a difference. Like when they have the stars, one doesn't have the stars. And like in people, for like us, for people, we're all one human race. We're all God's creation. We're all one human race. And God doesn't look at the differences. God, there's no Jew, there's no Gentile, there's no male, there's no female, there's no free, there's no slave, we're all the same. And God doesn't look at our colors either. And we shouldn't look at our colors either. Like I used to tell my kids growing up, because we lived in an area where they didn't see very many people of different colors. The area that we lived in, it was mostly predominantly one color. And so they've never really seen anybody of a different color for a very long time, until they were probably like 5 or 6, maybe 7. And my youngest asked me one time, he seen a black young man, and it asked me about that, why his skin was that color, because he didn't understand. And I had told him, I said, God made the flowers, all different sizes, all different colors, all different whatever, but he made a lot of flowers. And if God made all the flowers the same color, the same size, the same everything, the world would be boring. I said, that's why he made everybody different colors and different sizes, so that the world wouldn't be boring. Because those are all flowers, and we're all people. But we're all different. Otherwise, the world would be boring. That's the way I explained it to them. That we are all one. And that's why I always like the Sneetches, because it was a lesson in teaching us, this Fix 'em Up Chappie came in just to cause trouble, just to stir up trouble. He wasn't there to teach them the lesson. That wasn't his goal. His goal was to get money. His goal was to stir up trouble. And the more trouble he stirred up, the more money he got, the more it benefited him, and the more division he could create. And I believe that's kind of the way it is now. The more we focus on this color skin or that color skin, or this person has this money or that person doesn't have that money, or who does that benefit? Nobody, except for evil. Does it spread love? Does it spread compassion? Does it spread honor? Does it spread anything by looking at what someone's color is, or where they're from, or what they wear, or how much money they have? Does that edify anybody? Does that give love to anybody? Does that help anybody? No, it doesn't. And we're just foolish if we separate each other like that. Because if we separate each other like that, then we're only hurting each other. I mean, imagine the things that we could do and the things that we could accomplish as a human race if we stopped looking at these things that really don't matter and just care about each other and love each other. And not worry whether we have a star in our belly or not. I'm not any better than you, and you are not any better than me. We are equal in God's sight. We are equal because we are all part of the human race. And I really think that Sneetches, even though it wasn't a religious story, I believe it can give us a good message. And even if you're not religious, it still gives a good message. Because, and this is why I think children should be taught this at a young age. They should read this story at a young age, because it shows them. Because children are generally accepting and loving of everyone, unless they're taught different. When they're little, they accept everyone, no matter who they are. They see everyone as people. Because they're very innocent and pure, and they see people as people. Unless someone like the fix-em-up chappie comes in and says, oh, well, that one has a star on it, that one doesn't, so you should go for the star person. That's where we should be teaching them it doesn't matter who you are. You should love and respect everyone, treat everyone like you would want to be treated. And, I'm not going to say the world's not going to have issues and problems if everyone is just kumbaya with each other. But, because it is human nature for things to, get goofy. But it would be a lot better. And just kind of to teach kids, hey, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you look like, you're just as important. Everyone is important. And everyone contributes in their own way. And everyone is important. And I'm going to say this, everyone is a part of the body of Christ, whether, like I put in my other episode, if the body was like, if the eye was the only part of the body, where would the seeing be? Where would the smelling be, and the tasting be, and the foot can't say that it does need the rest of the body because it needs the rest of the body to move. That type of thing, that's from the Bible, and we all need each other. That's what my point is. We all need each other. One person might be really good at healing, might be a doctor, might be really good at healing the body, whereas another person might be really good at healing the mind because they're a psychologist, or they might be really good at building things, and somebody might need, something built. Everybody has importance. Everybody has, and even if they haven't found it yet, they can and they will, especially if there's people around them encouraging them and loving them. Everybody has an importance. And I don't think it's fair for us to look at someone and say, well, just because your color of skin is this, and just because you're from this place, that means you are A, B, and C, therefore I don't want nothing to do with it. That's not right. I think we all have worth, and we all matter, and we're all loved, whether you're religious or not, whether you agree with me or not. My belief is we are all loved by God, and we all matter, and we should treat each other like that. We all matter. I know what it feels like to not matter. I went through a period in my life where I felt like I didn't matter to anyone or anything, and it was very lonely, very hurtful, and I didn't like that feeling. But I learned and I realized I do matter, and I don't need other people to tell me that I matter. I don't need, because I thought I needed that too. I thought I needed someone to tell me that. Now, in certain situations, it is important to tell people that they matter, especially if they're going through depression and they're having an issue, then they do need to know this. But for me, I needed to know that for my self-worth, because the issue that I was going through. But now that I know that I matter, now that I've been taught that I matter, I don't need anybody to tell me that I matter, because I matter to the biggest person there is, to God. I matter to God, and that's all I need to know. And I don't look at other people Well, I can't really say that because I do want to matter to my family. But I think everybody wants that. But for the most part, I don't need to matter to anybody else. But they matter to me. Other people matter to me. You matter to me. All my listeners matter to me. And I'm not just saying that just to get likes and follows and stuff like that. You guys, you really, truly do matter to me. I don't do this podcasting thing because I want to become famous. I don't. I just want to help others. And I just want to talk. Some might say I want to hear my own voice. I like to hear the sound of my own voice. I don't know what all that true is, but I just want to talk. I have something to say and I want to talk. So, everyone matters. And I guess the whole point of this whole podcast right now is that I just want everybody to know that you matter. And whether you're religious or not, I know that you matter to God. And I know that you matter as a human being. And you're worth something no matter who you are, where you're from, how much money you have, what color you are. I don't care what color you are. Red, white, blue, purple, pink, black, brown. I don't care. You matter. We were all made. God made us in all different colors to make the world beautiful. And you all are beautiful. Every last one of you. I just wanted you all to know that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. And I really hope that you all stay safe out there in this weather. And I really hope that you all find happiness in your lives. Because everyone deserves that. And if you can, share a smile with a stranger on the street. Share something positive. And spread that love and know that it doesn't matter whether you have a star on your belly or not. You matter. And you are loved. More later.